some Negro.
Exactly.
That we, and then we love him. She's got such a nice smile. Oh, they're so gentle. Oh, they're not like you. Why can't you? I mean, if I hear that crap one morning, why can't you be like Charlie?
Yeah,
Kiss my ass. Why can't you be like so and so? We get along with him. Yeah, that's because he's kissing your ass.
Exactly. And I'd like to add also, he knew exactly what he was saying.
Thank you.
So when he said ISIS has been defeated, all he did was just pour gasoline on a fire. They said, oh, we've been forgotten about. We can't have that. So they go out and commit some other atrocity.
Thank you. I mean, this is absolutely nuts. And then a minister of the Lord, a minister, who sits there and so wait a minute. You got to admit, this isn't simply misspeaking. Nobody misspeaks 8,000 plus times by accident.
Yes. He's scary. He's not dangerous. He's scary.
When you have John Brennan, who sits up there and says to the world, excuse me, country, this man is a danger to our national security.
Absolutely he is.
1-866-801-8255. 42 after the hour. And I'm look. I used to say on the show, you right-wingers, conservatives call in and tell me I'm wrong. And here's what they would do. They call in and insult me.
What about Noel?
That's what they would do. Call in and insult. That'd be the first thing they do. They would insult. Okay, fine. Now, if you want to play the dozens, we can go at it. It's not very entertaining. But, and people are listening and that. But they will not argue facts. They won't argue facts. They can't argue facts now about the deficit. They can't argue facts now about the low unemployment rate. Because when Barack Obama was president, he was bringing unemployment down by 5%, 6%, 7%. And then when you look at the numbers, the Trump folk didn't do anything to hurt it. They didn't bring it up, and they brought it down by 1.3%. And these aren't my figures. This is the Department of Labor. But when it was coming down under Obama, and Tom Perez was on the show every month, at the top of the month, he would always say, we're bringing it down, not as fast as we want to, but it's going down. And then the Trump people and right-wing conservative talk radio would say, look how high it is. No, I'm sorry. They would say, you can't believe the numbers. You can't believe the methodology. And today, tomorrow, in February 1st, it's going to be the same method, February 1, 2019, that was used February 1, 2018. They didn't change the method. And then when I make that argument, before I go to a break, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a debate. And then you hear Franklin Graham. Well, I don't sit around and count how many times he lied. Craig didn't ask you if you sat around. He asked you, will you admit the president has lied? No, he just makes mistakes. And we all do. 8,000 fucking times? Hey, follow me, The Black Eagle, on Twitter at Maddison, Sirius XM, and Facebook at Joe Maddison, The Black Eagle.
Sirius XM's Urban Views, Joe Maddison.
The Black Eagle.
There ought to be a movement to amend the 13th Amendment.
Urban View.
The amendment abolished slavery except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been convicted and then incarcerated and then guess what? Sold out to private entities.
The Black Eagle.
Weekday mornings, 6 a.m. East.
On Sirius XM Urban View.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out today because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who texts ZONE to 85850. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Text ZONE to 85850. Ask about the Bosley Guarantee. ZONE to 85850.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-970-9383. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-970-9383. That's 1-800-970-9383. 1-800-970-9383. Flying a mile high, it's Joe Maddison, the Black Eagle.
And today is, by the way, is it today? Jackie Robinson's birthday, right? Today is would have been Jackie Robinson's 100th birthday. And his daughter, she said, you know, and I think this is her quote, the fact that it's his 100th birthday and we're even talking about him is amazing. This is what the daughter said from her home in Florida during a recent phone conversation. Quote, "It means that after all his work, all his sacrifice, the joys and the hard times, he is still having an impact. That is pretty incredible." And Major League Baseball plans to celebrate the centennial observance of Jackie Robinson's birth throughout all of this season. And apparently, is it today, I guess, the Museum of the City of New York is opening an exhibit titled "In the Dugout with Jackie Robinson," which is featuring images of Robinson and the Dodgers taken from the museum's Look magazine collection. And they also have some home movies and other memorabilia. And of course, they're still fighting over at GW, George Washington School, trying to keep that program alive. And that is the dumbest thing. I don't know who in the hell is running that operation over there, but it's the dumbest thing. They've got the money. They've got the resources. They raised their own money to keep the Jackie Robinson Project alive at GW University, George Washington University. And they want to take the money and put it somewhere else. Doesn't make any sense. And doing it now on the centennial celebration, which I do hope those of you will continue to contact the president over at GW University and tell him we just reversed the decision. Let the project live. They're not even asking y'all for money.
Right, from some other country, right?
And they do a lot of really good work. I think they produced a film.
Yes.
It's amazing.
They have public discussions, about the sociology, the race relations. Come on.
Joe, I was going to say, I love the headline of that article you were just reading from.
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson's daughter says, celebrate,
agitate, and educate. That's a great slogan. Celebrate, agitate, and educate. That's like with the Dr. King point. You celebrate the man's life, but you live the message. How? Agitate and educate. 1-866-801-8255.
I bought the tools straight out. And the tools themselves, I spend.
And that's what I do on my show. That's why I say it's different. I'm different. I don't do what everybody else does. I don't expect people to do what I do. That's why you got, what did Aretha Franklin say? You got to be original, authentic, and daring. John from Florida. Go ahead, hi.
Hi, Mr. Maddison. I've been listening to your show for probably a couple years now. I just enjoy your insight and your ability to school some of these people because they obviously need to be schooled, and one of them is Mr. Trump himself.
Oh.
But he'd probably spell school with a K.
He just might. Anybody that is president of the United States and doesn't know what what a pronoun is.
The difference between possessive and location. So.
Thank you. It sounds like an English teacher here.
Well, I graduated University of Georgia. I'm a Southern white boy.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm down here in Florida. I'm a native of Florida. And I want to bring to everybody's attention about the governor in Kentucky, because my sister lives up there with my brother-in-law.
Okay.
And their 3 little girls. And they moved from Florida up there, and I talked with her just the other day, and she goes, my kids don't even want to go out. And she goes, I'm not going to send them out this cold. It's too bitter cold. They don't even want to get bundled up and everything. Not because they're weak, it's because they're smart and they're intelligent.
Right.
The other aspect is, if people remember back in 1977, it snowed down in Miami. And one of your callers called in. I've been listening for a while now to the show this morning. One of your callers called in and said, that's when global warming started, like 1976.
Yes, I heard that.
And when it snowed in Florida, we shut all of our schools down. Did that make the whole state of Florida weak? Because we don't have heat in our schools. What are you supposed to do, send your kids to school and have no heat?
Thank you. Hey, you may not even have a coat. A winter coat.
And most people don't down here. Most people don't have any winter garb or winter wear or whatever. And the other point I wanted to make to your wise statements on all these fools that are up in leadership and everything, it's better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
And remove all doubt. Your mother went to school with my mother, same university. John from Virginia. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Maddison, good morning. I was sitting here this morning, and you almost made me choke when you said that about putting Vaseline on the face. Sir, I remember that. and so when we ran out of Vaseline, my mama used to put lard on my face.
Oh, God.
So, Mr. Maddison, you almost made me choke this morning when you said that. So, you brought back some memories.
No, I guess if you didn't have petroleum jelly, I guess the next best thing would be lard.
Nom 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 nom.
Just make sure you're not around the family pet. Lick your nose off. God, give me a break.
Oh my goodness.
Give me a break. I never heard. I don't think mine. No, I don't remember if it went that far. But go. Never mind.
But this is not.
Yeah.
Madison,
Yeah.
I just want to go and tell you that I think Al Roker is absolutely
He's dead
spot
on. Right.
I've got two daughters who are educators. One in Tulsa, and the other one in Atlanta, Georgia. And they tell me all the time that these students come to school, they're hungry, they don't have coats, and they both did a lot as far as getting the GoFundMe for teachers for their different projects.
Yeah. And I only have 30 seconds left, and I have to interrupt because we'll run out of time. But the same thing, by the way, applies when it's super hot.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the same thing applies when it's super hot. Don't be out there because you'll have what? A heat stroke. 1-866-801-8255. It's not about being soft. It's about being smart.
Super Bowl 53 on Sirius XM.
Touchdown! Gurley was 6.
I love this game so much. To make it to the Super Bowl, it's such a great feeling.
What a throw as Brady hits the deck on target to James White.
It takes so much hard work to get to this point. Playing games like this is definitely going to be exciting.
The national feed is on NFL Radio Channel 88. The Los Angeles feed is on Sirius 83, XM 225. The New England feed is on Sirius 82, XM 226. And Super Bowl 53 is streaming on your phone and at home on Sirius XM connected devices and speakers.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, man, where you getting all that energy from at your age? I know you're over 40 now, right?
Yo, keep it down. I don't want you to scare away all my new ladies.
Come on now. Tell me what's giving you this big boost of energy these days.
Well, it's easy. I got me a complimentary bottle of that award-winning Nugenics.
Wait a minute. You're talking about the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC stores?
You know it, but I got my bottle compliments of Nugenics by texting STAY to 42424.
Man, I could really use some of that too. You're saying I just text STAY to 42424.
That's right. Just text STAY to 42424.
Get your complimentary bottle today by texting STAY to 42424. Nugenic samples are not available at stores. To get your complimentary bottle, text STAY to 42424. That's STAY to 42424. Stay to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 2525 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 2525. harrys.com, code 2525. Enjoy.
You don't need a car to listen to Urban View. You can hear it everywhere with an online subscription. Go to SiriusXM.com to learn more.
You know, I should point out to you that in next hour, he's going to be with us in the next hour, JB, James Brown, sportscaster, CBS, who's in Atlanta as we speak, covering the Super Bowl this Sunday. And he's got a very busy schedule, but there was such an interesting front page, sports page, Washington Post story about him and his career. but I did want to talk to him. It's pretty much going to be the only Super Bowl story we do this week leading up to the Super Bowl, and I can't think of anybody better to interview, in my humble opinion, than James Brown with CBS. So he's going to be with us in the 9 o'clock hour and taking time in between his wall-to-wall coverage of the Super Bowl. In case you didn't hear, a TV producer got fired. Did you see this? Over this Tom Brady cheater graphics. You know, I saw the graphics, and I don't, you know, Sam, let's see what you can find on that, okay? As to, you know, what what they were thinking about, but they fired the TV producer, I guess, for producing this graphics. You know, so we'll get into that. Chris Cuomo of CNN and also my good friend Don Lemon, right on target. I'm sorry, you guys can call them fake news or whatever you want to call them, but the reality is, and I'll put this question out there: who should you believe? This is the question that Chris Cuomo asked on his show. Who should you believe? The nation's top intelligence officers who, by the way, he said, and you heard him, who closely monitor our threats, or the president who doesn't need or heed daily warnings? Now, who should you believe? I'm serious, and this is a question for everybody. And here's what I'll ask of you. Who should you believe? The intelligence officers who have all the equipment, all the information, all the data, all the spies, or the president who doesn't read? 1-866-801-8255. Now, if you say the president, if you call in and you say the president, I'm going to ask a follow-up question. And it's going to be a very simple one. Why? Why do you believe him? That's a simple question. Now, my lines are open, completely open. We got through all the calls in the last hour. 1-866-801-8255. And Sam's standing by. Now, do me a favor. Don't talk out Sam. Don't waste, don't tell Sam, our screener, our producer. Do me a favor. Save it for the show. And by the way, if you believe the top intel officers, I'll ask you the same question. Why do you believe them? Now, I'll answer it right here for myself. Because they're the ones who monitor this. They're the ones with the data. They're the ones with the information. They're the ones with the spies. It's their job. Oh, by the way, and every last one of these people have been appointed by this president. This isn't a leftovers from the Obama administration. And so the question then is, if you call and say, I believe Trump, why do you believe Trump over professionals?
Jay Millie, what's up?
As believing him, who basically had zero experience.
Flying a mile high, it's Joe Maddison, the Black Eagle.
I I knew that I was going to be somewhat out in front, and perhaps I would have to take a lot of abuse. I knew that this was bigger than any one individual, and I would have to do whatever I possibly could to control myself.
That's Jackie Robinson. Today would have been his centennial birthday. And the Major League is planning all season long special programs. The other person, who, by the way, it's his birthday too, Ernie Banks.
Listen, and you can learn. Listen. That's what Jackie told me in 1954 when I first met him. He said, listen, Ernie, and you'll learn. And that's what I did when I was playing for 5 years. I didn't talk to anybody. I just listened to everybody.
And that's Ernie Banks, of course, Mr. Cubs. He was born on this date, 1931. Jackie Robinson, born 1919. And we'll continue. Let's get to the phones. I'm in Texas, and we take the calls. We try to take them first come, first serve. 1-866-801-8255, 866-801-TALK. I'm in. Go ahead. You're on with Maddison on Urban View.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Fine.
I agree with the president. I just. And
all right. Now, hold on. Why?
Because to me, it's about the generals have an interest to keep on fighting.
We're not talking. Stop. Come in. Stop. We're not talking about the generals. Maybe you didn't hear it. This is not about the generals. This is about the top intelligence officers. Now, let's start over. So why would you believe the president over the top intelligence officers?
It's time to bring home the troop. The top intelligence.
Oh, man. Hey, stop. I'm pausing because I don't think he heard me. We're not talking about that. Why do you believe the president is more informed than the top intelligence officers?
I don't believe he's more informed.
Okay.
I don't.
Oh, all right.
I don't.
Okay, thank you.
But
God. Whew. Jeez. John from New York, hi.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
So I believe the intelligence agencies, because there are very many of them coming to the same conclusion, and I think that one of the things that Trump keeps going back to is that difference of what Saddam Hussein said he had than what he actually had as far as the weapons of mass destruction. I think it's a lot easier to pretend that you have something and to be a liar and say, oh, we have this, we have that, which is what Saddam Hussein did. He claimed to have all of these things. And, he moved stuff around and pretended that that's what it was. Than it is to hide stuff that you actually have and are pretending that you don't have.
Now,
so
if I'm not mistaken, and you're going back, not Saddam Hussein, you're going back to Bush now.
Right,
this is not, but yeah, and I know you're using it as an example. But if you remember, they lied to us. There were folk who came out and said, excuse me, that's not the case. And they actually went into, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, they even lied to Colin Powell.
Yeah, some of it definitely was lies. That's how that whole Valerie Plame thing, when Cheney decided to out an actual CIA agent, something that, gets talked about very little.
And the reason they lied is because they wanted to go in there and quite candidly get that oil.
Yes, and we see how well that's worked out.
Oh, yes.
They used to keep...
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, they were a counterbalance against Iran, so now we got rid of a useful Iraq, and now it's like, what do we do about Iran? You know, that problem had already been somewhat solved for us.
Keith from Michigan, hi.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
I'm fine, Keith.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't believe President Trump if he said that the actual temperature in Detroit was minus 13, which it is. The reason I believe his intelligence people is because they're the ones who review the daily briefing reports. This man doesn't even read the daily briefing reports. They're the ones who have contact with their field commanders and their various agencies who are in touch with the people who are actually out there doing the work. President Trump sits up there and always thinks he knows the most about everything on anything. And so if I'm Congress, if I'm any average American, I'm certainly going to take the word over the people who are doing the work over the person who wants to criticize the work.
1-866-801-8255. Cheryl, first-time caller from Georgia. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Good morning, Joe. I believe our intelligence agency. I would never believe anything that Donald Trump says. Like your other callers are saying, I ditto with them. And I just like to say one other thing off of the topic that we're discussing. That the $5 billion plus 25, Donald Trump wants some of that money, majority of that money is going to be diverted to Donald Trump and whoever he wants to spread that money around to.
Okay.
Anybody who writes notes on a tablet and shows up in the Oval Office or wherever he may speak.
And now that was the press briefing room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bolton.
Wherever.
Yeah.
He had. I mean,
He
the
knew
man
what he
has
was
no. I mean, that's like my grandkids. Grammy, you know, here's a piece of paper, and this is where we want to go.
And you know, because I when I saw it, you know, when I saw that, and here's what caught my attention, that it was the only thing on that tablet, and it was right there at the top. You do not take a top secret note and not have sense enough to flip it when you know you're walking into a room of media people. He knew what he was doing.
Totally
knew what he was doing. Totally knew what he was doing. That's how they played it. I have numbers, 1-866-801-8255. So the host of Cuomo Prime Time says that this situation boils down to decades. Who do you believe? People with decades of experience, legions of agents, analysts versus the president's gut. I mean, this is what's so crazy. The president has hired all six, now listen, has hired all six of these people. And their job is to analyze, read the data, bring it all in. His gut tells him they're lying, they're naive, they need to go back to school. Now, so are they all lying? Wait a minute. If they're lying, they're not lying just to the president, they're lying to all of us. And the question is, what does he base his information on? No, I'm really serious. In other words, it's got to be based on something because it has to balance out. I'm in the Oval Office. I've got these intel officers briefing me. And I'm listening. I'm listening to the CIA. I'm listening to the FBI. I'm listening to National Intel. I'm listening to them. They give me a 42-page report. I'm reading it. And then I tweet to the world. They don't know what they're talking about. Not just to them. I tweet to the world. They don't know what they're talking about. They need to go back to school. What am I basing my information on? Here's the question. Where is the counter information coming from? You just can't say, I don't believe you. You got to have some reason I don't believe you. What? They're all liars? Hey, Mr. President, you hired them. 16 after the hour. Malcolm from Florida.
Hey, Joe. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I normally don't lead Trump on anything, but in this scenario that you're speaking on, I would say I believe Trump.
Why?
And the reason I would say why is why go through middleman? We can go straight to the horse's mouth. Meaning he got a direct line with Putin and Kim Jong-un.
but wait a minute. So, wait a minute. Hold on a second. So Putin is telling him ISIS is dead, and he's supposed to believe it.
He would.
No, I know that, but are you being sarcastic? You really sound like that's what you're being.
I kind of am.
Oh, okay. All right.
Think about though.
All right. Okay. All right. Because I was getting ready to say, and North Korea and common sense. I mean, now I got to tell you, common sense would tell you that young Kim is not going to get rid of the only weapon he has that keeps him in the game.
Oh no!
And that's what the intelligence folks said. If he did that, if he denuclearized his country, they'd assassinate him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said. He wants to stay in power. He is not going to commit suicide. That's what he said.
Gaddafi.
Thank you. 1-866-801-8255. Let's see who's next. Cypress from North Carolina. Who do you believe? Go ahead. Hi. Hello? Cypress?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah. Nice to hear from you. I was listening to what you were saying, and I admire how you say you use your third ear. I was listening to how people were saying, I believe the president over people with education. Education has distorted us because Dick Gregory said we're not being educated, we're being indoctrinated. And I was shocked to understand that when I talked to a Klan because they have a certain belief and they don't vary from it. When you give them information, they deny it because conscientious stupidity, I guess. And it's sad to say, hey, I'm going to believe somebody against education. People with experience, how are you going to, that's not even like, I should even consider somebody that don't study.
1-866-801-8255. Mac from North Carolina, first-time caller. Who do you believe?
Hey, Mr. Maddison, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Well, good.
Go ahead.
I was in the military. I had a top secret clearance.
Yes.
I was stationed in Korea.
Yeah.
And I also worked in Washington, D.C., and I believed in intelligence officers because every morning when we got reports, when I worked in the intel business, we looked at the documents. We were briefed every morning on what was taking place in the world at the time. So he's lying, and you got to go with the information. And so we worked the information each and every day with our intel officers and our enlisted personnel and our NCOs in the military. So every morning we're briefed in those areas what takes place And we had top secret clearances. And that's all I want to say, Mr. Maddison.
Now, I hear you, and I would say it would be interesting if there was a split. We disagree with the FBI. The CIA disagrees with this agency. All 6 of them folks sat there independent of each other and said, no, all of us have come up with the same conclusion. And that's what kills. But anyway, thanks for your input. Willie from Alabama, and then I'll take a break. He's a first-time caller. And that'll give people time to get to the phone, 1-866-801-8255. So, Willie, before we go to the break, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. I want to say I've been listening to your show for a long time. I'm just not a person that like to call in, but I had to call in on this one. I believe our intelligence agency, and when you brought the question up, just imagine if Obama had went off his gut when they told him they had an idea of what bin Laden was, and he said, no, y'all just keep looking in the desert. He out in a cave. So if something really was to go down and this president don't believe it, we're going to be in some serious trouble.
I have a headline right now in front of me, and I'll get into the details after the break. Here's the headline. Russia, Putin, secretly offered North Korea a nuclear power plant. That story just broke. CNN breaking news. And wait a minute. Russia secretly offered North Korea a nuclear power plant in exchange for North Korea dismantling its nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles. Moscow offered the country a nuclear power plant and said the Russian offer, which intelligence officers became aware of in the late 2018, marks a new attempt by Moscow to intervene in the high-stake nuclear talks as it reasserts itself in a string of geopolitical flashpoints from the Middle East